Welcome back to the Stadium of Light. We're back in the sports bar. Obviously, everyone's a little bit disappointed with that result, Danny. 2-1 in the end to Ipswich Town. A much-needed win for them. A frustrating one, especially maybe in the second half. Sunderland weren't able to kick on from the green shoots we saw in the first half in particular.
Yeah, I think it was quite an even game, to be honest. I think they had spells and we had spells in the game as well. I thought they started the second half better than us. They had a 15-minute spell where they were controlling the game, but then we came back into it. And as you say, obviously you're at 1-1, and it's fine margins in football. Just said it there on commentary where O'Sheesh comes off the bench. It's his second touch, isn't it? The first one pops up for him, and then if he tucks that away, we're in a good, strong position. Obviously their crowd goes quiet, and then we perhaps take control of the game. But that's football, and then at the other end he gives that free kick away on the touchline, and it's a great delivery in, and Connor Chaplin's there to meet it. So that's the difference on the day. Disappointed, as you say, 12 defeats now. So the boys will be disappointed getting back on the bus, and as you say, they're back up to second in the table, and they'll be thinking, do you know what, we've more than matched them there tonight. We weren't at our best again. We were loose at times on the ball, but so were they. They had spells and so did we, so there wasn't too much in it, and the scoreline suggests that as well.
Let's roll through some of the action from the game then, and maybe Danny, you can pick us up on some of the points. Neither team really taking control of the game in the first 30 minutes or so. The game came alive, didn't it, when Jack Clark got that first goal of the game, and Sunderland weren't just able to kick on from that though, were they?
Well, no, you just see from the highlights as well, really, and I think it shows when you haven't got a natural striker in the box there. Well, obviously Alex Pritchard taking the strike on there, not too many options, puts his laces through it. But we did start the game quite well. You see, Adji does well there. He steals in off the fullback Clark, nicks it off him, feeds it into Job. It's a difficult one. It's bouncing into him there. He's got to try and meet it on the half volley maybe, and can't quite do so. But the keeper's there. Obviously, there's 3 or 4 blue shirts getting back there to help him out as well. But I thought we actually started the game quite well. Burns was a threat, I thought, for them in the first half, getting in behind Adji down this right-hand side. Fizzes a lovely ball across, doesn't he? And as I said, that he's got to put pace on it. It's not too much for him to play it into. Trying to just feed it behind Luke O'Nien for Caden Jackson coming onto it, and he can't quite get on the end of it. So, yeah, we had 1 or 2 half chances ourselves at that end, and then and they're always going to be a threat. We said before the game they've got good options at the top end of the pitch. I actually thought Nathan Broadhead was pretty quiet throughout it wasn't 90 minutes because he came off, didn't he, towards the end of the game. But Wes Burns looked their most likely avenue towards a goal or getting them into the game, didn't he, on this right hand side?
Yeah, just going through some more of the action from the game. Like you said, it was quite even, wasn't it? But maybe in the second half, Ipswich shading. I'll get the stats up for you as well. But Job finding himself through the middle as well, and Jack Clark, obviously, who went on to get Sunderland's goal. Quite quiet in the second half as well, wasn't he, Jack?
Yeah, but he was. I thought in the first half he was quite quiet. He didn't have too many of those mazy runs. What we see him go on, going past the fullback, etc. They handled him quite well, I thought, throughout the game. But that one there, it was opened up for him. Good strike. Keeper makes a save with his legs, and then a minute or 2 later, here's the goal now. Abdullah picks it up. He does well to regain possession for us on the right hand side. Comes into the box, little bit of footwork there, and just lends it to Jack Clark. Pops up as Jack goes to strike. You see there now, just sits up lovely for him, and then bang, yeah, lovely strike. Keeper, a little bit questionable. What's he doing down there? I'm not sure if he's gambling going to his left-hand side, but yeah, Jack's 30th goal of the season, good strike. And then you're thinking, now, here we go. We've played okay in patches there. We've had good control at times in the half, and then we've managed to get ourselves in front. And is the bar going up behind us there, as we said. They're seeing it live. Say most enjoyed it there. She's gone now. She wasn't enjoying it too much in the middle of the table there, was she? But yeah, and then reaction from Ipswich at the other end as well. Good save from Anthony Patterson. But here's the goal now. Disappointing. Listen, we can debrief goals. We sit in here. We've got bodies behind the ball. Nobody's putting pressure. Was it Travis that was in there? Yeah, I think it's Travis. Look, he's had a touch there. He's got his head up. And I think you can't see it. It happens quite quick. But I think Adji Elise's actually tried to tow it away from this man. And then it just falls into Caden Jackson's path. I don't think that's a handball. I think it comes off. Yeah, his arms are close together, but I think it comes off his chest. But here now we've got to go and get some pressure on the ball. Unfortunately we don't, and we're 1-1. And we had another little nervy moment here where just reactions in the box really. We've got good numbers back there. Dan Ballard deals with that one. But look, now we're sort of leaving it for each other. But thankfully, Caden Jackson, it's a difficult one for him. He's on the turn and he can't get over the top of it. And then obviously into the second half. sorry, it's the end of the first half, isn't it? Yeah, ball comes in. Adji wins the first one, cushions it down for Luke 09, and they managed to scramble that one clear into the second half now. Yeah, Ipswich, as I said, started the second half quite bright, took control of the game. Davis, the fullback there, was it a minute or so on the clock, wasn't it? No pressure on him, he pulls the trigger, good save from Anthony Patterson. It's at him, to be fair, isn't it? Just parries it away. Free kick, yeah, the referee could have allowed this one to go on from the build-up to the free kick. He blows his whistle a little bit early for me, could have had a look at it, but we get the free kick and Alex Pritchard steps up and it's always over the top, isn't it? And then just decision-making at times. I think there, Bart, and this is what I say about him at times, his decision-making lets him down a little bit at times for me. Comes across him there, just trays there, he's got Akers on the right-hand side, just lend it out to him. You know, it's got to be a wonder strike to beat the keeper from there. And the opportunity goes away. And then Ipswich come again, don't they? We've got bodies back there again. I thought this was a spell where I was thinking, are we now looking at the bench where we're looking perhaps a little bit leggy around the pitch? Can we freshen it up? And he did just after this. Michael Beale bringing O'Sheesh on, who obviously had a part to play into the game, which we'll get onto in a moment or so. But yeah, they were starting to link up Ipswich around the box, weren't they? Chaplin involved, and I think it's the fullback Clark, isn't it? Finds his way into the box. Good save again from Anthony Patterson, when obviously Clark lifting it helps him out a little bit as well. And then here's the big chance now, isn't it? Yeah, we're pressing high. Job just gets a toe on it, and there you talk about, you know, composure. You can see the goalkeeper's in front of him there. I think if he catches it flush off his laces, probably tucks it away, but he slices it off the outside of his boot. And yeah, big opportunity, isn't it? And then Ipswich obviously capitalised on that a moment or two later. Again, they're getting bodies forward. Made a couple of changes, and Hutchinson was bright on the right hand side when he come off the bench. Good block, I think, off the side of Luke 09. And here's the goal now. Give the free kick. Look, there's not too much in it, but just gets a bit tight. Davis is waiting for a little bit of contact. There's not a lot of contact, but don't give the referee the chance to make that decision and give the free kick. And it's a decent ball in. We've got numbers back there. We've got a line back there set on the 6-yard box, but nobody's with Chaplin. From the moment the ball's delivered, he's got 2-3 yards free, and he just steps onto it, paces on the cross, decent delivery, and just meets it. And there's no chance for Anthony Patterson. Past him before he knows it.
Who's got to take responsibility there at the back? Is it Dan Ballard's man, or is it just a zonal kind of marking?
Yeah, I think it's more zonal, isn't it? I said there on comms, we're quite a big team now. We've got good height back there. You've got Elise, Dan Ballard, Joe's back there. Trey Hume's decent in the air. Luke 09's not bad in the air as well. But it's not about who's big, and it's the quality of the ball. He pulls it away from the Sunderland line. And as I say, Chaplin, he's probably 5'5" at best. Doesn't have to rise above everybody. It's just there for him. Just gets himself a yard of space and plants it past Anthony Patterson. And there's a big chance at the other end as well, isn't it? You know, between Job and O'Sheesh again. He's passed the ball. I think Job, can he give him a big shout? Can he come onto it? It's a decent ball in from Adji Elisi, isn't it? And then this one here, we get ourselves in a little bit of a mess coming together. Luke 09, and then Dan Ballard gets the block in. So you can see both sides have had good opportunities in that second half, but football's fine margins. We've not taken our chances, and they've taken theirs. The big one which has come along, and I say Connor Chaplin, his forehead's the difference between the two sides, and they've relief for them. They've obviously had a tough patch in recent weeks. They've got back on the winning horse, so to speak, but for ourselves, a big disappointment going down there. Probably deserved for me a point out of the game, but it's not to be.
You might not believe this, but we shaded the possession by 51% to their 49. Sunderland only having 3 shots on target during the game to Ipswich Town's 5. I guess Michael Beale has to focus on to the next game now, which will be back here at the Stadium of Light against Hull City. Another strong test, because Sunderland have dropped out of those playoff spaces today, and they'll want to get back in there as quick as they can, because the top 5 now are starting to pull away.
Well, yeah, he will do. I want to put it to the back of his mind, but obviously we've got, well, not quite a week to look forward to that. So they'll debrief this. They'll have a look at it with the staff. The players will go in there. They'll have a look what they've done well in the game, what they could have done better, and they've got to learn from it really as well. You know, at the end of the day, it's a set piece, which is the difference, isn't it? Which has took the points away from us. But yeah, difficult. Another tough one up against Hull. Hull had a defeat, didn't they, on Friday night? I think it was against Norwich. So they've got to try and get back to winning ways, and it's a scramble now for those last couple of places in the playoffs between ourselves, There's a few other sides in amongst it, aren't there? We've got an interesting one with a fan in the background there. But yeah, disappointment, massive disappointment coming up against. We've actually done okay, haven't we, against the sides in and around us? West Brom. Obviously, who else have we picked up? Leeds. We beat Leeds, didn't we, as well in there? So, disappointing. And when you're in games as well, you look at obviously last weekend against Newcastle, we were never really in that in terms of a contest, really. It was a comfortable one for them. Today, you mentioned there in terms of stats, you can look at the stats, but just watching the game in general, we were more than in the game there today. Well, that's the disappointment.
Yeah, especially maybe deep into the game where Michael Beale tried to change things by putting some forwards on. We couldn't remember any touches, perhaps that Mason Burstow or Naz Rusin has. Obviously, we'll find out the truth in that. I'm sure someone will have the stats, and you'll get the stats up on your websites you like to go on after the game. But it's not a good sign, really, if the strikers aren't getting any supply, I guess.
Yeah, a bit of both, isn't it? I think he got 15 minutes or so. I'm saying as soon as they scored, really, can we maybe give it a minute or two and then look at getting him on a recognised striker at the top end of the pitch? And then he come on, and as you say, I can't remember him having 2 minutes, but he certainly didn't have an opportunity. Whether he got a touch or not, I'm not too sure. And then, Mason Burstow's come on 88, 89th minute, so difficult for him to try and get into the game. But yes, it's a difficult one from Rusin's point of view. I said it before the game, he'll be disappointed having got his goal against Preston a couple of weeks ago, didn't have too much to go on against Newcastle last week, and then obviously finds himself back on the bench. So I said it about himself, obviously O'Sheesh and these boys go one way or the other. You can either sulk about it and think, oh, I want to be out there and playing, or you've got to just train hard and show the manager and the coaching staff that you want to be in that starting 11 come the next game.
Let's have a look around to see if you've got any hashtags here, Danny, which have come into our production team. Yes, we've got a couple, so let's take one from Chris, who's been watching. He says, what position do you think we need to strengthen this month, Danny? Where do you start?
Well, how do we know this one was going to come round? Yeah, we've been asked this, not just today, we've been asked before the window opened, didn't we? I said it before the game there, I think top end of the pitch probably, I'm sure they're looking at it. You see it again today. We're not starting with one of our so-called recognised strikers. Job's up there trying to do a job. So that perhaps tells a story in itself, doesn't it? And I'm thinking, I'm sure they're working on it and looking to get someone in. So we're in a good position still. Yeah, it's a setback again, obviously, today, but we're still right amongst it with plenty of points left to play for. So, yeah, a striker for me. Can we go and get someone who, if you get someone in, can they get us between 8 and 10 goals between now and the end of the season and kick us on? And then middle of the park. A little bit of experience in there. I think at times today, both Dan and Pierre, similar type of players in a way for me. They both like to get on the ball, try and tick us over and make things happen. But for me, they're perhaps better a little bit higher up the pitch as well, where then you've got your natural sitting centre midfield just tucked in behind your Corey Evans type, really. So someone in there with a little bit of experience and to free them up a little bit, to go and play a little bit higher, to try and go and get a goal or two as well and to chip in.
Let's have a look at another one then here of your hashtags. This will be the last one we've got time for from Brandon. It says, what is your opinions on Abdullah Bar first half performance when he got an assist?
Well, yeah, he did, yeah. And it's, again, he's not saying he's a frustrating player in a way, really, because you can see it. He's got something about him. He's quite athletic. He's got, at times he's got good feet. He's quite skillful. But sometimes he tries too much. Sometimes I think the step overs are happening in his head before they happen with his feet. But you see what he's supplied for the goal today. He's settled himself down. He's done well to win the ball back. Then he showed good composure. He just rolls it across to Jack. He's done the hard part then. And then he's lent it where sometimes he doesn't do that. He's beat one man, and then he wants to go and beat 2 or 3, and he gets the ball stuck under his feet. So he's got to learn from that decision-making. I know he's asked about the questions about his performance in the first 45 minutes, but the one as well in the second half, what we've seen on the highlights again, where he's driving, he's middle of the goal. Yeah, he's 30, 35 yards out. Awareness, Trey Humes making a run outside him, just give it him, he's got space there, and he tries a worldly effort, doesn't he? This is it now, you see it back, look there now, he's got 3-4 blue shirts in front of him. It's got to be some strike to beat the goalkeeper from there, and it's just, that comes from experience and know-how when you're out on the pitch. And I'm sure Trey gave him a few verbals thinking, I've just made a 30-40 yard run, give me the ball outside you. So he's got to learn, and he gets frustrated because he's in the team 1 week, then he comes out of the team. He's got an opportunity now because Patrick's injured again, so he could make that position his on the right-hand side, but he's got to be consistent with his performances when he's out there.
Let's have a look at the league table then before we wrap things up here at the Stadium of Light. This is how the league table looks for Sunderland this evening. Sunderland obviously haven't climbed back into those playoff places. They're level on points with Coventry City. And Danny, you think that may be the place that's up for grabs as the season goes on because of the form of West Brom, Leeds, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester?
Well, yeah, obviously there's still a lot of football to be played, isn't there? But you can just see those little gaps opening up there. Obviously, 6th place to West Brom in 5th, who had a good win today's 5 points. Then you go 6 points up to Leeds. But Leeds, Leeds are going well. Obviously, we beat them a couple of weeks ago, didn't they? But I think they've had a good win again themselves this afternoon. So they'll be eyeing that place up now with Ipswich there. I think Leicester are gone. You forget about Leicester. They're going to get one of those places in the top 2. Southampton have been on a good run. I think they won 4, was it today? 4-0. So everybody behind up 2nd place out of those 4. And then, yeah, in Coventry, ourselves, Hull, Middlesbrough, and then somebody from the pack just below that possibly get on a good run. So there's still a lot of football to play, a lot of points to go. And yeah, we've had a defeat. We've come out of it. Coventry have took advantage, beating the league leaders as it stands. So we've got to keep on going. It's all you can do. Look at the next game and you hear managers, you hear players say it. That game's gone now. Hull's the next one we've got to focus on. A team who are right next to us in the table. Can we go and take 3 points off them?
We will see. That's when Sunderland are back in action. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff at the Stadium of Light against Hull City on Friday evening. We'll be on air from 7:15, broadcasting around the world here on SAFC Live. Don't forget you can get your Matchday streaming passes right now from safc.com for that one. Thanks for everyone who joined us in the sports bar behind us this evening as well. We'll see you very soon here on SAFC Live.